Okay, let us now focus on errors, the errors that affect the trial balance. And then at the same time, I would like you to know how to define these errors and also how to correct these errors. So get your paper and pen. Let us go straight into this. So the first error we have is the error of omission. Now, this error is very simple to define. So, when you completely omit a transaction from the books, that's an error of omission. So, this is not deliberate. When you do it deliberate, it is called a fraud. Now, you are not doing it deliberately. What is happening here is that you've just forgotten to include this particular transaction. So the error of omission is an error which is committed when a transaction is completely omitted from the books. So here is an example. A credit sale to Caro suppliers has been completely omitted from the books. So that is a what? That is an error of omission. So let's put a figure here. A credit sale of 400 kwacha. I don't know what Caro got. Maybe she got some blankets or whatever. But a credit sale of 400 to Caro suppliers have been completely omitted from the books. So now, when a question comes like this, you'll be asked to correct using a journal proper. So what I'll do today, this side I'll be writing a journal, this side I'll be writing the correct entries. Okay, so what is happening here is you've got two accounts. So there was a credit sale here to Caro suppliers. So you've got sales, and since it was a credit sale, you are going to write the name of the supplier, Caro suppliers. Okay, yeah, so the wrong transaction was that nothing was recorded. So what you would want to do is to go ahead and record. So you are going to record sales Caro 400. Then in Caro's account, you are going to write sales 400. So now you have balanced. Now it doesn't end here. You now need to go ahead and write the journal. So the journal looks like this. Okay, so this is your journal. So the journal, okay, so the journal has details here, and then you have the debit and the credit this side. Okay, so this is how the journal looks. I hope you're able to see it clearly. So now what you do is you begin with the debit transaction. So the debit transaction is Caro, isn't it? So you're going to say Caro suppliers 400. Then now you write the credit transaction, which is sales. So you don't write just at the beginning of the C here. You go a bit inside, then you write sales like that there. Then you put it in the credit. Then now you are going to put a narration here. A narration is just a story of what is happening. So you are going to say being correction of error of omission. Okay, so this is how you correct errors. I want you to see that is why it is very, very important that you understand the types of errors, so that at the end of the day in the journals you can be able to mention the error as you are doing the correction, being correction of error of omission. Then you write it that way. So the second error is the error of commission. Now the error of commission is where you have written in the wrong account but this particular transaction is in the same class of accounts. So let me give you an example. So a credit sale to Junkie, let's say a credit sale of 500 to Junkie was entered in error to Jumbo Limited. So we are going to do the same thing here. Here we'll have where we'll write the journal where we are going to do the corrections. Then here I'm going to write the correct accounts. So here we've got a number of things. We have the credit sale. So we have got sales, okay, to Junkie. Then we have got Junkie Limited, and then we also have Jumbo. Take it step by step. So you've seen there's a credit sale that has been made. So we all know that sales is the sales are always what? A credit. So we are going to write a credit here. So there's a credit sale of 500 to Junkie. So it's supposed to be Junkie, isn't it? Okay, so we are going to say Junkie. The credit sale should be 500. Okay, so now the mistake which was made is that this particular sale was written in Jumbo. So this is what happened. You've seen it. It was not recorded in Junkie, it was recorded in Jumbo. You see? So in Junkie's account, there was nothing. This is the error which was made, isn't it? So now we need to correct this error. The sales are okay. The only challenge is Jumbo. This figure is not supposed to be there. And I wasn't supposed to write Junkie. I was supposed to write sales. So this figure is not supposed to be there, isn't it? Because we didn't sell to Jumbo. We actually sold to Junkie. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to write it correctly in Junkie here. 500 will debit, but will come and credit here, okay, with a 500 in Jumbo. So what has happened now is this 500 is cancelling this 500, so this error is cancelled. Like I said, in accounts we don't get a rub and rub things. We just post a different we posted a transaction on the other side to cancel out the wrong transaction. So now we've written the correct one in Junkie. So now I have corrected this error. So what you write in the journal proper, in the journal, what you are going to write are the correct entries, isn't it? So you have your debit, you've got your credit there, and then you have got your details here. So like I said, you always start with the debit, isn't it? So you are going to say Junkie Limited 500 error. So this is the error of commission. If you can see the error of commission, the issue is the wrong account, but of course it's the same class, because if you see Junkie Limited is a debtor, Jumbo Limited, they are both debtors, so they are both in the same class of accounts because they are both debtors. So this is a debtor, and then we know that debtors have debit balances. Okay, so the recording itself was okay. The double entry was done. There was a credit for the sale. The debit was done in the wrong account, but the same class of account, but just the wrong account. So for us to correct this, we credit Jumbo to cancel the error, and then we debit Junkie. Okay, so actually I've made a mistake here, because junkie is supposed to be debited, isn't it? So we've debited junkie, but the one we are crediting is not sales, we are crediting Jumbo. Remember, sales was already recorded, so there is no need to record sales again. The only thing we are recording is the Jumbo here, so that we can go ahead and pass the different entry. Okay, so that is how you record. So we are recording in the journal, we are only recording transactions that will correct the errors. Okay, so let's keep moving. So I'm going to do the last question, and then I'm going to give you an exercise where you are going, the last 3 errors will be an exercise which you can go ahead and try out. So the next one is the error of principle. So here the double entry is done, the double entry is correct, the double entry has been done, everything is perfect, except the error is done, except the transaction is posted in the wrong class of account. You see where the problem is, eh? Yeah, so let's take an example. So an equipment bought for cash. So there was an equipment bought for cash, 100 kwacha was entered in the purchases account wrongly. Now, I'm sure you are aware that an equipment, once you buy it, this is not a purchase, this is an asset, it's a capital expenditure. So it is supposed to be capitalized there. Now, instead of included on the non-current asset list, it was included for purchases. Remember, in accounts, purchases means goods bought for resale. So you are buying goods with purposes of reselling it, that's a purchase. But even if there's the word bought, don't be deceived, this is not a purchase, because this particular equipment was not bought for reselling, but it was bought for production and administration and so forth and so on. So this is what we are defining as a PPE in RAS 16. So that is why this thing is an error. So you see why it's important to understand double entry and also to understand those PPEs, so that you can be able to see the errors which are being made, isn't it? Yeah, so an equipment was bought for cash but was entered in the purchases account. So it was entered, to add the word in error in the purchases account. So there are 3 accounts here. We have the equipment, and then we have the cash, and then we have the purchases account. So let's just see what is happening here. So an equipment bought for 100 kwacha, for an equipment bought for cash, 100 kwacha, was entered in error in the purchases account. So in the cash, it was recorded properly, okay, because the cash came out. So there was the record here, equipment 100 kwacha. So it was recorded correctly. Let me write it properly. It's not seeing properly. Our friends with glasses will struggle. Okay, so the equipment was recorded in cash. Remember, the double entry for the cash here is the money coming in, on the debit is the money coming out. So we bought a machinery, the money was coming out, that's why I've credited. So in error, they debited the purchases with the equipment 100 kwacha. You have seen, eh? So this is where the error is. The equipment was not recorded. So the two accounts which we need to correct is the purchases and the equipment, because the cash is just okay. We already recorded. So if you see these types of errors, that's why we say they don't affect the trial balance, because it's the double entry was passed. You can see that there was 100 kwacha in the cash, and there was also 100 kwacha in the purchases, except it's just the wrong class of accounts, because this is an expense. This is an expense account. This is an asset account. So if you see the classes, they are different, isn't it? So it's a wrong class of account. So that is why we need now to record properly. So what we are going to do is we are going to record on the debit side here. So we are going to say cash 100 kwacha. Now we've recorded it correctly. Then now we are going to enter the credit here, okay, to cancel this 100 kwacha. So we've entered the credit in the purchases to cancel the wrong entry. So now, like I said, when you are writing the journal proper now, when you are writing the journal, you only write correct entries, okay? Rather not correct entries, but correction entries. So the entries which you posted to correct the error. So of course you start with the debit. So I'm going to start with equipment. So equipment was not recorded, so I'll record it. And then in the purchases, there was an error because there was 100 kwacha which was wrongly posted on the debit. So I need to credit it so that it becomes 0. So you see that the cash which was okay, the cash account which was okay, I've left it just like that. I haven't done anything to it because it was correct. But the equipment, I've entered it there, and I've entered another correction error, the correction entry. Okay, so in the exams, you'll just be required to just write the journal. This, you won't be told to, these workings are just your work. Okay, sometimes the narration will be asked, sometimes the narration will not be asked. So in this case, let's say if a narration was asked, you're going to say being correction for error of principle. Okay, so that is why I would like you to learn these errors and how to correct them. So remember, they are basically 6. So there was the first one was the error of omission. Then the second one was the error of commission. Then the third one was the error of principle. Okay, so now I'm going to give you homework where I would like you to do the same. You correct the compensating error. You also correct the error of original entry. You also correct the error of complete reversal. So I'd like to see what you are going to do, and then after you have tried out these particular questions, that's when I'm going to post the correct answers. So in case if you don't post, then I won't be motivated to post as well.